This video is about our experience when we had John from Window Nation into our home to give us a quote for our home of 12 windows. Window Nation was the sixth company that we asked for a free quote to gain an understanding of what they charge and how their process works. Hi friends, I'm the Wacky Window Woman. I'm not a contractor. I'm not here to sell you windows. I'm just a real person trying to get new windows without getting ripped off. In addition to needing new windows for my home, I've got those crappy builder grade windows. I've also made it my mission to shop all of the larger, well-known replacement window companies. I've sat through the demos, so you don't have to. Be sure to see my Wacky Window Woman comparison chart to see how replacement window companies stack up one against the other when they quoted my 1,600 square foot home with 12 windows. I'll put a link to that chart in the description below. So we've all done it, right? We go to Google and we type in best window replacement, or we type in best windows in my area and ask, maybe we even go to ChatGPT and we ask the same or similar questions to see what comes up. Buying windows can be a daunting task, and for most of us, we'll likely only do it once in our lifetime, and we don't want to get it wrong. Our homes, for the most part, are our largest investment, with windows, doors, and siding, and the roof being the face of what our friends and neighbors see when they drive by. When my husband and I made the decision that we wanted to replace the builder-grade windows in our almost 10-year-old home, we were not looking forward to sitting through window demo after window demo after window demo, when all I really wanted was a basic understanding of each company's window, their process, and a price for my project of 12 replacement windows. After 3 presentations, we made the decision to go with virtual view windows. They offer the entire sales process virtually, and they don't require that you sit through a demo just to get a price. But I felt like there had to be an easier way, a better way to gauge the top 2 or 3 that you might want to consider. And this website is a result of that. We are all familiar with the big names that we see advertised on TV, but are they affordable? And to be honest, I assumed they would be the most expensive. Some of those big names were super expensive, but one was incredibly affordable. But after researching the window they offer, we realized the quality of the window wasn't up to par with the others. So Window Nation has some of the corniest TV commercials, which also means I remember them. They are the ones with the 2 brothers. One's name is Aaron, the other one I think is Harley. Or the commercial I just saw this morning is where the 2 newscasters are camped out in the front yard of the home while the workers are there installing the new replacement windows. So John was our representative that came out from Window Nation. So John did exactly what I had expected all of them to do, meaning it was a big show. He told us that Window Nation is the 3rd largest replacement window company in the United States. He shared that he had been with the company for 27 years, and he even boasted about being a member of their President's Club and the lavish trips that he's been on. That was my first clue that they were not going to be the most affordable. And we definitely got our money's worth with his presentation. So he asked me to walk him from the front of our home all the way down every single wall so he could measure every single window. Now, 10 of my 12 windows are all the exact same price, or same size, and we told him that. But he insisted on measuring all of them individually. And this took up time that he really didn't have, as he was 15 minutes late due to traffic, which is not a big deal. But we were also clear that I had a hard stop at 90 minutes and would have to excuse myself to join a work meeting online. As it turned out, he didn't get through his entire presentation as he'd hoped, which meant he ended with a one-legger at the end. And a one-legger is when you only have one of the 2 owners and a decision is not going to be made that day, as they would need to talk before they can make a decision. So after John finished measuring, we sat at the dining room table, and he brought out his heat lamp and some different grades of window glass samples. So he pointed a laser measuring tool at one of our existing windows, and it showed about 70, meaning the temperature on the inside of the window was exactly the same temperature as the air in our home. So really nothing really bad, or nothing that he could use to validate why we needed new windows. He then used his temperature tool to show us how the temperature of the glass changes as you move from a single pane of glass, then to a double pane of glass. Then he showed us his special silver double pane something or other, and then even had a triple pane. And as he continued, the temperature continued to go down, showing how the heat doesn't get through the glass. It was all very impressive, but I'll be honest, I was starting to lose interest at that point. Then he spoke of them being bonded and insured, and that the installers are all employees of Window Nation, and that they will secure any needed permits. And the next, he showed us some videos of how they install windows and how the process works. There's something about some kind of foam, something about some sort of demolding product, and a tube that's used to insulate the windows. But I'll be honest with you, it was too much. I was starting to get overwhelmed. Finally, when he realized he had about 25 minutes left before I had to excuse myself, he went to his vehicle and brought in his window. He's a bigger, strong guy, and I could tell the window was pretty heavy, or at least he made it seem like it was heavy. I think that theatric was more to show how durable his window was. So he showed us how their drainage is different, a few other things, and again, I really don't remember. I was most impressed with how smooth the window glided up and down. I asked him if they made their own windows, and he said that the Window Nation architects design the windows, and then they have another company that's called Softlight that actually manufactures the windows according to their specifications. Also, you've likely heard of Energy Star. Well, in 2023, there was a newer version of Energy Star called Energy Star 7.0, and some of the Window Nation windows meet this 7.0 standards and some do not. So be sure to ask which window you are being quoted if you want to go this route. John then had us watch 2 videos of previous customers going on about how much they liked John and how happy they were with the job that Window Nation had done. Yeah, just give me the price already. Then when he finally got down to the numbers, I'm glad I took notes on my phone as he didn't leave us with any type of electronic or paper quote. He presented all of the different prices at a very quick pace, but here is the gist of what I took away from the appointment. Keep in mind, he had already groomed us to be prepared that a typical price for a standard window in our area is $2,100 per window. So the first price he gave me was Window Nation's starting price at full retail, which was $24,869. Second price, the 1-year guaranteed price was almost $35,000. Third price, the price if we sign today and become a part of their Target Home program was $19,304. That program said that we'd have to put a sign in our yard for 30 days and we weren't allowed to share our discounted price with our neighbors. After I left the meeting, my husband said that John also stated that if and when we were finally ready to make a decision to call him and he could likely get us down to $16,000. So are you confused? Me too. When I entered the Window Nation pricing on my Wacky Window Woman chart, I wasn't even sure which price to use, but I opted to use the today price as the $16,000 that he kind of alluded to would need further approval from his management and he couldn't guarantee it. Why don't he just quote us the lowest and best price right from the beginning? Why do we have to jump through so many hoops to finally get down to their lowest and best price? This closing technique isn't my favorite and leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Be sure to check out the Wacky Window Woman comparison chart to see how Window Nation stacks up against all the other replacement window companies. Oh, and when you are ready to buy, make sure you tell them that the Wacky Window Woman sent you.